Hello, folks. A very good morning, good afternoon, as well as good evening to whomever and watching a different time period. I welcome you all to another video session. So, in this video, we'll be discussing about DNS incident response, and we'll also discuss about the root cause analysis with detection ideas. So, before further going to discuss this video, which going to be a very long video, and we'll be discussing about what actually the things are happening when it comes for incident response through domain name systems, and also we'll be discussing about the analysis process and also what are the different detection ideas which basically been implemented in that. So further going, just want to make sure that please do a subscription to this channel, like the channel and share the channel as soon as possible for getting any latest update regarding any cyber affairs. So discussing about what is DNS systems or DNS incident response. So basically here you can see the DNS refers to domain name system incident response, which is a process of handling and mitigating the issues, or we can say security incidents, okay, basically related to what DNS services, and where the DNS is crucial component. We all know that because in the internet, that internet basically translates into domain names into IP addresses. Okay, right. So I just want to repeat it. So DNS service, or you can say DNS, is a crucial component of internet. Okay, that basically translates the domain names into IP addresses, right? So allowing users to access website and other online services. Okay, basically an incident related to DNS can also disrupt the services and also the compromise the securities, or which basically eventually leads to a various issues. Okay, here are the general information which I actually wants to give about the incident response. We can say DNS basically, which with a very clear overview. Okay, so please do a subscription to this channel, folks. Cyber Tech Education, for getting any cyber related affairs or cyber related news. Okay, so in this context, we'll be discussing about persistent malicious DNS queries detection. Then after, we'll be discussing about antivirus numerous detections, payload in DNS text record detection. Then after, we'll be discussing about very crucial, that is all about DNS log bypass detection. Then after, DNS tunneling detection, threat IDR, okay, for DNS security, and also and final we'll be discussing about the final summary of what actually the content is. Okay, so when we discuss about the DNS or persistent malicious DNS query detection, so, however, when it comes for detecting or we can say making a query in DNS, so sometimes the malware basically establish a persistent DNS query mechanism, okay, in the victim's computer. In such case, you may notice in the Linux victim system, okay, that the system MD resolved. Okay, just we can make a query like system, okay, system system d resolved, or we can write a system d resolve dot services, where services is sending the DNS queries to the malicious domains on startup dot reboot. Okay, so these services, okay, basically persistent as it started by the, or we can say in the bin itself, like sbin slash init. Okay, the process in case of Ubuntu, it provides a resolver services for the domain name system. So in this, we can have a persistent malicious DNS query. In this we can have a detection on that in basically when it comes for Linux front. Okay, preferred action. What are the steps we can take when we comes into the detection part? So you can first confirm that DNS query by logging the network activities. Okay, basically the network activities like using the tools like NetDAR, okay, NATDAR, or we can also by checking the system MD resolved caches, okay, from journals catalogs by using the formal or by using the below commands. Okay, first store the logs into the DNS logs.txt file. Okay, then sets the system.d resolve logs in the file. There we can have a spell like sp, okay, pk kills slash udr. Okay, you just note it down in your notes so that you can get an understanding regarding what actually the thing is. Okay, so this is how actually we can make a systems, we can proceed further, and also we can make a we can say we can take a next step of action, we can eventually say that. Then after coming to antivirus numeration and detection. So what is this antivirus numeration and detection? So when a threat actor send non recursive DNS queries, okay, when a threat actor basically sends a non recursive DNS queries to their targeted organizations, or we can say actors, the DNS servers, after gaining access to the network for different antivirus domain. So if the DNS query for any of the antivirus domain gets a successful DNS response, okay, when it comes to successful means attempts are being successful, okay, these instead or basically this indicates that the specific antivirus is already installed in that, okay. So because the attacker sent non-recursive DNS query, which basically means that DNS server will only send a successful response, okay. If the DNS record is already stored in the DNS server caches, then the DNS server basically uses a cache, okay, and the DNS records to the currently used antivirus domains, okay. So as we already know, it is often been queried by the antivirus for basic updates. Thus the threat actor got the information. Okay. So this is all about antivirus numeration detection. So what are the different preferred action we can take is that you can analyze the DNS query logs to check if there is DNS query for or we can say some so many antivirus domains in a certain period of time. Okay, this is how actually we can persist the things when we take about the further actions. Then after payload in DNS text record detection. So what actually the payload domain detection is all about. So when threat actor try to use PowerShell commands such as IE EX, or we can say invoked web requests, okay, then we can say EDR or security solution block this, okay. Basically the endpoint detection response, basically those solution usually block these traffics, okay. So to bypass this, they can host a DNS text record with a malicious payload in their C2 domain also, we can say, and then run the below command to execute the payloads, okay. Here are the details about that, okay. PowerShell NS lookup. So you can copy, or you can say you can note it down what actually the thing is, okay. This is all about payload in DNS record detection. So what actually the preferred action we can take is all about, you should manually analyze the DNS logs, okay, or we can say query logs, okay, with your findings to such a queries to text records. For an example, below is the example of log text record query that usually basically generate from ChatGPT, okay. So I have generated this from ChatGPT itself. How actually we can make a further step of action when we detect any kind of payload in DNS text record detection objects. So I just again want to make sure that please do a subscription to this cyber tech education for getting latest update. Then after we'll be discussing about DNS log bypass detection. So what actually DNS log bypass detection is all about. So when a threat actor may add their malicious domains, okay, to any specific IP addresses, okay, in basically in the host file like etc.host in Linux, okay, like below to the temporary bypass the DNS and its logs. So this is how actually the thing looks like. Okay, so the threat actor may even use the IP, or you can say domain to IP services, and also such as IP API to collect the IP addresses to their DGA, or we can say from malicious domain basically gathers the query, and then after the DNS server, so that the DNS cannot even log their domains in the query logs, okay. What are the different further steps we can take? So it's really basically when it comes for DNS related query and also the DNS log bypass detection is bypassing the things, right? So when it comes for bypass detection, it's even very pretty difficult, right? So difficult, even hard to detect such behavior if any kind of such attempts are being observed, okay, which do not even have the DNS security solution such as threat IDR. But we can check for the existing of the any DNS queries, or we can say domain to IP services in the logs, or we can also analyze the recent host files, okay, modification during the IR, okay, instant response. Okay, then after DNS tunneling. So what is DNS tunneling all about? When we discuss about DNS kind of tunneling, when a threat actor basically often encodes and encapsulates the data of different protocols. Okay, even we can say like program in DNS queries, or we can say the techniques which basically been used in DNS tunneling. And these techniques somehow or sometimes and includes any another hacking methods like DGA, okay, domain generation algorithms, and it has also been enabled threat actor to exfiltrate data using DNS protocols. Okay, so what are the different further actions or steps we can even take? So when a domain name in a DNS request can have up to the 253 characters in its textual representation, so that their threat actor will basically require so many DNS requests, okay, to exfiltrate those kind of data into their systems, right? So as a result, the DNS traffic will basically increases, okay, which basically is a very good indicator that of DNS tunneling attack also we can say. So also an incident responder should analyze the data and also the inside network packets, okay, by capturing the live networks, and it also helps to detect the DNS tunneling attack by analyzing it manually. Okay, so this is all about tunneling attack. Okay, then when it comes for IDR and or you can say threat IDR on DNS security, if you are you can say what if your DNS server protects you from cyber threats? Okay, so IDR is such a protective DNS. Okay, threat IDR is such a protective DNS enhanced with new technology solutions that will automate your security. Okay, so get your own security in your maps. So this is how actually the threat IDR looks like. So final summary is all about the DNS, or you can say DNS incident response when it comes with. So DNS is the main entry point for all possible internet-based cyber threat. Okay, if the DNS is safe, okay, almost all are safe. And when the DNS is attacked by any actor, comes to any victim's computer, an incident response I basically describes some task as an initial checklist of DNS incident response to this document. But worth no mention, there are more, or you can say many more DNS threats, and it also comes with DNS catches, and it is also a poisoning kind of DNS catches, right? We can even say that. So here the DNS servers vulnerability and also the exploitation, etc. And when it comes with basically requires a perfect incident response, and it usually detects the root cause and also secure the environment from all possible threat, we can also say. So this is all about folks for today's video analysis. I hope you have enjoyed the session regarding the DNS kind of request, or we can say DNS incident response. Okay, DNS response. I have also discussed about the next step of actions, and also the basic detection process and ideas which we can prefer. Okay, and also the root cause analysis. I have also provided the commands which can basically help you to detect the commands, or they can detect such kind of DNS queries whenever any kind of attacks are been surfaced in your network. Thank you, and do a subscription, do not forget that.